Tell me when you're recording now. Okay, fellas. So we have a recovery tank here. We're gonna check and see if this recovery tank is contaminated or not. So remember, R410A changes state into the evaporator at what temperature? Does anybody know? Let's say 40 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, but when you have your own a truck or your own van, you want to make sure that this is not contaminated, because by law you're really not supposed to use whatever is in here because it could be contaminated. So it could be mixed with R410A or R22. Okay, so the way to check this is you're gonna put the blue here, the low side, onto this right here. Okay, and you're gonna open up your valve. Once you get the pressure, right? So we got the pressure, and then we're gonna get the tank temperature. So this is a tank temperature right here. Okay, so our pressure is, does anybody know how to read that? That pressure is that we're at 200. No, we're at 170 something, right? Say 175. So you look here at your pressure temperature chart. Okay, so we look for 73 degrees. We go down here to degrees, 73 degrees. So it's closer to 70. So we're gonna go to 70, and then we got our pressure, which is 175. So what we look for is 70 plus 175. Right? So we don't see that. It was at 200 earlier, so it looks like it changed the temperature on it. So it's 170. If we go down here, we go to 75 degrees, and we look for 175 here, right? And we can't find it. So that means what? If you don't have the same pressure and temperatures that you have here and here, that means that this tank is what? Contaminated. All right. So you just got to make sure that when you reuse this, that nobody else in your division or in your crew is using it. So by law, if you know that this is not contaminated, you can use it. If other people are using it, you can't, because now this is cross-contaminated with R410A and maybe R22. Okay, but this is how you find your tank, your recovery tank, if it's contaminated or not. All right.
What if you put the low side on the right and the low side?
You won't get the same pressures. If you put the low here and the high here, you won't get the same pressure. But this is how you check it. By putting the low side on the high side of the system. Because remember, this recovery has a dip tube. So this dip tube right here takes up the liquid for the high side. And then for the low side, since it's vapor and gas, it rises to the top because it's gas. Okay?
Do you have to puncture a hole, or is that only for a virgin tank?
That's only for virgin tanks. Here, you don't have to do anything. This is just a recovery, and then once it's 80% full, you can't fill it all the way up. It's only 80% because you got to leave a certain amount of space, like
20%.
20%, correct. So that way, when it's in your truck and it's correct, it doesn't blow, because in your van it could be over 100 degrees and it'll start boiling.
So what do you do if the cylinder is contaminated?
What do you do if the cylinder is contaminated?
If you're not getting the same readings on the gauges and whatnot, if you're not getting that and it's obviously contaminated, what do you do with the cylinder?
What you do with this is you take it back to the warehouse, or you take it back to the supply house, and they're gonna do the same thing. And if it's cross-charged like that, they're gonna charge you for it, and they're gonna give you an empty one back. Okay, so that's how you're supposed to recover that. All right? Are we good? All right. Go ahead. Shut it off.